Shalom everyone, good morning, or as I say in German, guten Morgen. Well, yesterday I've made a video about not putting your parents and nor anyone else before the Most High. Today, I just want to remind you how important prayer really is. See, most of the problems and difficulties and frustrations we encounter is due to lack of prayer. Why? Because we simply don't realize or we're ignorant of how powerful prayer really is. First of all, prayer changes you. Prayer has a deep impact upon you. Because let's be real here. Often we feel threatened by circumstances that don't exist because we see something and we have an interpretation of what we see and what we hear. And that interpretation doesn't make sense, but it feels real onto us. Why? Because that illusion that we're feeling is empowered by our environment. You can have a whole culture that's basically mentally ill. It's possible. So prayer has a cleansing impact on you. That's why you should pray. First of all. Secondly, prayer, let me say you are born again, you have the Holy Spirit in you. So when you pray, you're basically activating the anointing on your behalf. Okay, I'm going to give an example now. Okay. This is my tablet. It's charging now, so I can't open it. This here is a phone of one of my Israelite brothers and fellow believers here. It's not on now, okay? It's an electronic device, so you need electricity for it to work. Well, I hope you agree that that's true, okay? It's an electronic device, so you need electricity for it to operate. Besides that, it is a smartphone. This is a tablet. It needs to be connected to the Wi-Fi in order to benefit from the potential that's on this device. Because if it has electricity, the electricity supplies, and it's on. If you're not connected to the Wi-Fi, you can't use YouTube, you can't use the internet, you can't use WhatsApp, you can't use any of those apps. Okay? Mark my words. If you have a smartphone or a tablet or a laptop without connected to the Wi-Fi, not connected to the internet, you can click on YouTube.com or whatever. You can click on whatever app you want. It will. Let me say it like this. It will crash eventually, and it will be hindered. Why? There's no connection. Everyone who has a basic knowledge of Wi-Fi and device today understand this. Even little children who grew up with this new technology understand this. Why am I using this? I'm using this as a parable. When it comes to Wi-Fi devices or smartphones, we are far more, let me say, literate than when it comes to spiritual matters. If you are not connected to if you're not connected to the anointing of Christ, so that means if you're not in agreement with the word of the Most High, then you are basically blocking His power from working through you. For example, there's a Wi-Fi connection throughout this hotel here. It's everywhere. But if you're not connected to it, then you can't use the internet, and you can't access the millions of websites that are available onto you. The same way, often we remain stuck in a closed narrative where there are no possibilities at all, only counterfeit possibilities. And we're not aware we're doing it, but we are doing it because we're not in agreement with Christ. And then we become sad because life is frustrated or we don't see any way out. And then there are worries and all of that, and that attracts more curses. No. When you pray, you activate the anointing on your behalf. That's just how it is. Okay, just being born again means that you have the Spirit in you, that you're saved. But it doesn't mean that the anointing is flowing on your behalf. This is not works, okay? This is just something you do naturally because you're born again. The same way you brush your teeth daily and you wash yourself daily just because it's natural to take care of this body you're in, the same way it's natural for you to pray because you're born again. So secondly, the prayer activates the anointing on your behalf. And thirdly, prayer affects other people. And that's important because you're not saved just to pull yourself back and wait till Jesus returns and you did nothing during this earthly time. I mean, during this first life on the earth. No, you're called to go out, bring the nations unto his disciples, and you're basically called to glorify the Most High during your walk on earth. Okay? So that's the third reason to pray. Fourth reason to pray, which is obvious, prayer hinders spells from operating upon you. It hinders negative statements. It hinders the witchcraft of the world from getting hold of you. If you, let me say this, you need water daily to live. The water, not only is it healthy, is it a need for your body, it also cleanses your body. Because when you drink water, your kidneys receive it and they cleanse the blood that flows through this body. The same way, if you don't shower daily, you're going to notice it. The same way, if you do not speak in agreement with the promises of the Most High, you're going to notice it. So, fourthly, I believe, as I said, fourthly, prayer hinders spells from operating on you. And the fifth, prayer breaks the chains of the wicked. What I mean with that, for example, let me give a short example here. Let's say that there's racism going on in your environment, or let's say you have a relative that has a sickness or whatever. Now, what Catholicism taught us was to fold your hands, bend forward, and beg to some entity that's angry and don't want to give in to you. No. When you think in agreement with the world, you are thinking in harmony with money and your own physical effort. Now, your own physical effort cannot accomplish much. Okay? When you operate from your own, when you operate from your own effort, you tend to create more problems and you tend to stress yourself out. Or you tend to become narcissistic because emotionally you can't handle and process everything. That's true. So that's why praying, for example, let's say there's a racist issue, you pray against the power structure behind the racism and you pray for the downfall of everything that supports racism, and by you activating your faith, the words you pray and send out will accomplish far more than you can do on your own strength. You see? So prayer is very powerful and you are called to walk by faith. So prayer should become who you are. Prayer should become basically your way of life, instead of something you do only when you're going to dine, or only when there's huge frustration in your life and sadness and you know how to deal with it. No, you should start each day. Every day you should start with prayer. Begin each day with prayer. You see, and after a while, you will do it automatically. And you will notice a transformation inside of you, your environment will realize it, and you will notice things, miracles will begin to follow you. Because what I see now is that often believers go to Christian conferences looking for a miracle. That's not biblical. Biblical is that miracles come after you. You see? But miracles come after you when you are in agreement with Christ. When you are not in agreement with Christ, but you're in agreement with all that bullcrap of the world, then spells is going to follow you. For real. It's either real miracles are following you, or spells are following you. And don't think, well, I'm not praying for a few days, nothing's going to happen. It doesn't work that way. That being said, we're heading now to the, how's it called again? The Rheinturm in German. It means the Rhine Tower. We're going to enjoy this holiday. And for you now, again, I'm going to repeat it before I close this video. Pray. Please pray. Pray in agreement with Christ. Don't go not a single day without prayer. Let prayer become who you are. That being said, you all, may the grace of Christ Jesus be with you. Shalom.